So there's only two of
Okay, so I gave you some pictures to have a look at, didn't I, Grandad? So which ones do you want to talk about first? Just tell the number of what number it is on the picture.
Well, number one, this is the Cox Street west led down to Balsall Heath Road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether you want to look at. I've drawn a sort of map.
You've drawn a map, yeah?
To show how it got there. Like,
yeah.
it's a bit rough. There's Upper Cox Street West, Lincoln Street, and there was the pub was the Red Lion,
Mm-hmm.
and the church was St Thomas's in the Moors.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
And there was a sweet shop opposite where we lived. An old lady ran it.
Yeah.
And there's this factory next to that, but I don't know what it made.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what do you remember of the first image then?
But in the main, I think it was the most of the shops were in Balsall Heath Road.
Yeah.
There were a few in Cox Street West, but not much. But the Balsall Heath Road was ran a long way like past this area, up to Moseley Road, which is a long way up, and back up the other way. It reached the Bristol Road. I don't think that makes much difference to it, but it was a long road. But this part of it was the shopping part.
So what's the next image then?
Well, this one is the junction with Upper Cox Street at Balsall Heath Road. You can see that clearly, Upper Cox Street. I've got a suspicion that the co-op may have been there when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
You know, because it hasn't got a date on it, can you? But it's there weren't a lot of shops in the there were one or two, but not many shops at all in Upper Cox Street.
No.
It was mostly, and a lot of the space was taken up by Mary Street School playgrounds.
Yeah.
Which I think I told before, that I went in the back way from Upper Cox Street normally. I put a note here that my birth was in 1919, that after the Great War ended in 1918.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a lot to be said about it, other than it was mainly people lived there.
Okay. Are there any other of the images that you remember?
Well, there's opposite this back gate into the back of Mary Street School.
Yeah.
Opposite was a sweet shop. Well, a semi-grocer's come sweet shop.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the name and much of it. But one of my aunties lived down the entry by the side of that sweet shop. And there were 2 or 3 kiddies, but I'm afraid my memory doesn't
Okay.
throw them up. I think they were certainly older than me.
Yeah.
a lot I can say about that, you know.
Okay.
Because we haven't got a date on this, have we? This
No.
Right.
So were there any other of the images you remember?
Oh, here? You mean?
Out of all of these pictures.
I can certainly... I would have thought that
What number is
this
this?
is probably the Moseley Road
What number are you looking at, Grandad?
at 30.
Okay.
The Moseley Road and this bus number 48
Yeah.
was up to the Maypole, but it says via somewhere, but I can't read what that says. And I can't read what the road is that it's going through, but that is the way up to the Maypole.
Yeah.
But I can't read what this read up there.
Maypole via Balsall Heath. It just says Balsall Heath. It just says Maypole via Balsall Heath.
Balsall Heath?
Yeah.
Oh, I could accept that, you know,
Yeah.
because this Moseley Road ran more or less from town right out through King's Heath and the Maypole was about the last part of Birmingham.
Yeah.
When you got there. And the bus looks very ancient, you know.
Yeah.
But that was the type of bus that it certainly was, you know, an ordinary bus like as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, it's the type of bus you went on.
If I went that way.
Yeah.
But I got one of my oldest sister, Margaret, lived. I can't remember the name of the road, but it was not far from the Maypole.
Yeah.
You know, it was that area. So I went up there to see my sister sometimes.
Yeah.
Mind you, I should say I was getting on a bit by the time that became a usual thing for me. She moved house in the same road and went into an attractive garden which backed onto a pub.
Yeah.
In the next road. Not that they went, I don't think that he may have drunk quite a bit, but I don't think my sister did.
No.
Now, is there anything else? What's Solid Brass Ring Company.
I think that's meant to be Cock Street West.
Well, my house was a two-storey house.
Yeah.
I can remember that quite distinctly. It wasn't a three-storey.
There's two beds further up the road, isn't there?
So God only knows how this ties up with my age, like, you know.
Well, if you flick over, are there any two stories on the other photos?
There is some two stories there, but my impression was that it was more or less, apart from this factory on the one side, which I don't know what they
Well,
made.
isn't that meant to be a factory?
Hmm?
Wasn't that a factory?
Oh no, it was bigger than that. You know, it was opposite our house.
Yeah.
And the sweet shop, and then the factory started, but I can't. Quite a fair sized frontage, but I don't know what they made.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember what they made. That's 31, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that doesn't ring any bell with me, this solid brass ring company.
Well, it could have been after your time, couldn't it?
Yeah, could be. It's a long time to span, isn't it?
Because I think that image is from the 1960s or 70s before they
could
demolished it all.
Could well be. And certainly I should imagine that the buses came after my childhood, if you follow what I mean.
Yeah.
Because there were trams in most of these going into town.
Yeah.
Like Lincoln Street coming down, there was a church, and then that went on down past our house, the tram. But it didn't come back that way, it came back the next road, which was Clevedon Road. I told you that, I think, before. Anything else in there, is there?
You can have a quick look if you like.
Cox Street West in the junction with Balsall Heath Road.
What image is that?
That's the bottom. That's number. That's got 3 stories, isn't it? I don't know what. I haven't got a number on the picture.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I don't know what. Oh, 32.
32.
Is the picture. And this is clearly Cox Street West because the name's there. But the factory would be on that sort of farther up than that.
Yeah.
It was fairly long, Cox Street West. And I used to go on me when I first went to the what I call the grammar school.
Yeah.
I used to have to come down here on the tram.
Yeah.
And then I acquired a bicycle from my mum. I can't tell you much about it, except that it was the street I lived in, for certain. And I would be on this side of the street before it reached
the opposite side of the street.
the Balsall Heath Road, that is. At least it looks like it.
Okay.
See, this is modern cars compared with when I was a youngster, don't they?
Yeah. Well, this would have been in the 1970s, just before they demolished it.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it was a 2-storey, and there's an entry. Like they weren't even semi-detached. They were rows of houses. Anything else?
You can flick through, see if you wrote anything else. Flick through and see if you wrote anything else on them.
Yeah, that's a 2-storey, but whether it's Cox Street West or not, I haven't a clue. I put a map, which I thought was probably it, you know.
Yeah.
This is Cox Street West down here.
Okay.
But that looks as, I mean, it's abandoned, isn't it, this one here. And that doesn't look very occupied, does it, the upstairs? Unless it was the summer, you know, but this has got a hole in the window.
No, it would have been just before they demolished it.
Yeah. It looks as though it was, you know, abandoned virtually, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got 38 against that, so...
Okay. Okay. Well, if you've not left any other notes, we'll leave the pictures there. We'll leave the pictures there if that's it, from what you remember. So you mentioned Moseley Road Library the other day, didn't you?
Yes.
So you joined...
Well, you see where the bus came along there? Yeah, the picture of the bus going to Moseley, was it?
Moseley Road, yeah. This one. Number 30.
That's it. There. And if that was the Moseley Road, which I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was quite a decent sized library, but on that side of the road.
There used to be baths as well. Did you used to go there?
Yeah.
Did you used to go in it?
Later on I did, when it became awkward having a tin bath in the in the scullery. I was getting older.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all that expensive to go. It was. I think that was about next door to the library.
I think it was next door. I think it's still there, along with the library.
So, I used the baths when I was getting older anyhow. I might have gone past the period we're talking about, but I don't think so.
No, because
somewhere
it was still before
you
you
went. 11.
Still before you joined the RAF, wasn't it?
Oh yes, I wouldn't be in the RAF when I went there, because the RAF had got its own baths and all the rest of it. But that intrigues me. The Solid Brass Ring Company, it's a 3-storey building. And what road did we think this was?
It's meant to be Cock Street West, but I can't be certain that it is.
No. I'm not sure. But there are some 2-storey places up there. And we had that sort of front window.
Yeah.
Like a smallish bay window, isn't it? But it's obviously after my time.
Yeah.
This is by the shape of the car. Any more, was there?
No, I don't think you've written on any of the other ones.
Well, I've tried to show where it's a triangle, you see, the Upper Cock Street West, and the bit of Balsall Heath Road that's got a lot of the shops in this part. And then Mary Street up here, the door into Mary Street School was this side of Mary Street. Further along, there was a hill climbing away, Wenman Street, something like that, Wenman Street. And at the top of that hill is where, like a row of houses with gardens in front, went up the street that was up there, which I can't remember the name. And it's there that Doris lived, who married Albert.
Yeah.
Or Albert married Doris. I don't know whether that's of any great interest, but it's, it's part of the family.
Yeah. Did you ever go to, was there any cinemas nearby? Did you ever go to a cinema?
Yeah, that's a good job you said that. Because the nearest cinema to me was just around from the bottom of Cock Street West. If you turn left in Balsall Heath Road, it was on the opposite side of the road, not far up. That was a cinema that I was taken by my sisters, I think. Yeah. Or my mum and dad even. And I used to hammer the floor with my feet because it was exciting.
Yeah. Did you used to go very often, or was it just occasionally?
It was a treat for me, if I can put it that way, but it was fairly frequent for me.
So it wasn't too expensive to go there?
And my sister would take me perhaps, my mum and dad would take me sometimes, but it might go on a Saturday afternoon which was cheaper, I suspect.
Yeah. Do you know what sort of films you went to see?
They were black and white. And I used to get I must have been pretty young when I went there frequently. There was another cinema I mentioned the Butchers in Gooch Street, which was down further away, and there was a cinema down there.
I think in total there was about 6 cinemas in Balsall Heath. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can remember that cinema there. I was taken to when I was small,
Yeah.
And I may have gone later on in 11ish and that. I don't know. I don't think I did go to the cinema that much, but it wasn't constant. But if I went, it went to the Balsall Heath Road one.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a treat and you got excited about it. So is there anything else you want to mention before we end the interview?
I don't know what that is. 3-story, isn't it? I can't place that place. It might not have been there at all
Yeah.
in my time. And that's all 3-story stuff, isn't it? That's some 2-story stuff. I'm quite distinctive in my mind that this number 68 Cock Street West was only 2-story.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it had got 3 bedrooms. The one my mum and dad were in, and the girls, the 3 of them lived in the back bedroom, which was the largest of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
And when I grew old enough, Albert had got married, I think, and left me free to use the back bedroom with Fred. That may be why I'm more interested in Fred than I was in Albert. Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Made that point before, I think. It's anything else. And I got married in this St Thomas in the Moors, but it was knocked down since then. Disappeared. And we went, they got, I think I told you before, St Thomas in the Moors had a building at the back. At the back, which was, we went dancing, and if you belonged to a club, it would probably be held in that sort of place. So it was a vital part of the district, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, part of the community.
As I say, the pub, as far as I remember, was the Red Lion, halfway up Lincoln Street. That's the pub on the same side that the church was. Further up. I can't think of anything else.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, then that's fine. If there's nothing else, that's fine. We'll end it there then.
Is that enough for you?
Yep, thank you.